So this is from the animation at the beginning, which was originally a little longer. And we decided that my original idea was it would be nice to almost have a cartoon in front of the movie, like in the old days. And so this was designed to be a little longer. And when we actually ran it with an audience, they seemed impatient. It was like, well, is this really a cartoon? They got kind of confused whether it was the movie or a cartoon. And so we reluctantly had to shorten it. And this was actually directed and written by Chuck. And the idea was to impart the same tone to the beginning of the movie as the movie itself was going to have, and sort of tip people off as to what they were in store for.
Gremlins 2 indeed. Ha! It is to sneer. There. Now that's got the old savoir-faire.
Sorry to be an old killjoy, but...
How can people not realize this was part of Gremlins 2, since all they talk about is Gremlins 2?
Well, I think they were just confused because they knew Gremlins 2 wasn't an animated cartoon, and yet here it was being an animated cartoon. And so it got shorter.
It does look a little skimpy, so...
So this is the scene that Zach was talking about earlier in the commentary of him kissing Phoebe goodbye was shot to replace this section, which was the introduction to Bob Picardo's character, and also was designed to show what the lobby was and the fact that he was Daniel Clamp's man and had instant communication with him and all that. But ultimately, it seemed to really repeat things that you learn later in the movie. And so out it came. And it was probably one of the very first things to come out, I would think. And then we always had a slug here while we were editing the movie. And then at the very end, we went back and shot the little scene that replaced it.
Yes, sir. This morning I'm doing a decor compliance check. Tonight I thought I'd do a random drug search.
Excuse me, Mr. Clamp.
We're busy.
And this, of course, would have been the first time you would see Grandpa Fred, which I don't think is really a good idea. I think it's better to introduce him the way that he is in the movie.
Yes, Mr. Forster.
Billy.
Oh, hi, Marla.
The Chinatown drawing, we have to have it. It's a crisis kind of...
Now, this is the elevator scene that we dropped. Here's the guy in the middle there is John Hora, the DP.
Oh, that's right. I remember this.
Who has been, he was in Inner Space also before this, so we knew that he could handle it. And it was cute. It was a cute little bit, but it didn't really add anything, so out it came.
Antisocial.
I hate this thing.
Now, this is the scene that sets up the fact that there are subliminal voices that are played throughout the building to get people to toe the line.
Not steal office supplies.
Not steal office supplies.
And wouldn't Mr. Clamp make a great president?
Yeah. And, of course, there wasn't much to cut to during this, so we let Bob do whatever he wanted. And it turned out that he decided that plucking nose hairs would be the thing to do. I think one of the executives found this disgusting and pretty much doomed the scene.
And not stealing office supplies works for me.
It's for you, sir.
The way I learned to live.
And this is where another place where we see that he communicates with Daniel Clamp whenever Clamp wants to, on these series of monitors that they call the stack. And
he's about to close the deal to buy Vermont.
Yeah. How many people do you know have their own state?
State. Hey, did I show you a picture of those mountains?
Yes, sir. Tall.
See, we didn't cut this stuff out because it was bad. We just cut it out because the movie was too long.
I had some money people here. Mrs. Tanaka's still spinning.
Yes, sir. I'll take...
Now this is the scene that sets up the Bat Gremlin, actually, and in fact, we had a preview. I had in my contract that I could have a preview just for myself before I had to show it to the studio. And so we had a preview at Warner Brothers and invited friends and things like that. And the picture was just playing so slowly at the beginning that it picked up, in the middle, but the beginning was just too long. And so as much as I hated to do it, I found that we just had to be fairly ruthless. So this scene, which I always kind of liked, is they explain, it sets up the fact that there is a bat to turn into the Bat Gremlin later. And then there's also a sort of a little vampire joke, which I thought was kind of a nice touch, considering that it was Christopher Lee.
Yes, he likes it.
Very nice indeed. I'm told they sometimes feed on blood.
Oh, that's a different kind of bat doctor. South American.
I still have my Splice of Life badge.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I have my Splice of Life jacket.
Really? That's a collector's item.
Oh, gee, I'm sorry.
Oh, and I want to see the results of the...
Now this was the scene. This is the scene that is
right.
actually based on something that happened to me. I was at Universal, and I think I was probably doing Jaws 3, People Nothing. And I went into this bathroom, which it turned out was Lou Wasserman's personal bathroom, which you're not supposed to go into. And I went in there, and Lou Wasserman was there, and I turned around, and I did what Zach is doing now, which is I dripped water on his shoes. And I looked up into his horn-rimmed glasses, and visions of the end of my career floated in my head. And so I figured, well, we got to put this in the picture. So we did put it in the picture, but unfortunately it didn't make it in. But we liked the bathroom.
Over here.
And then this was to set up the barcode scanner.
And this was, I believe this was Bob Picardo's idea, this prop.
The wand.
Ah, yes, the wand.
The wand.
The
Where the
Claire.
wand? Great.
That's right. Because this is the executive washroom. Now, I don't think you belong in there.
Oh, no. My mistake.
Hold it.
So in the outtakes, exactly. See, we cut out more abuse. You're getting abused even more.
Oh, that's right. Here's the wand thing, right?
And this prop which malfunctioned all the time.
Yep, I remember that.
A dress code violation. Your clamp code ID was at an improper angle, as it is again. And these SAT scores.
Those are in there?
What's in the box, Pelzer?
Nothing. I'm just art supplies. I'm mixing paints. Nothing. I'm just art supplies.
This is actually one of.
Goes on. It goes on.
It's a pretty. It goes on a little long, but it's a pretty good scene.
Pretty funny.
Quite a bit of vocal stress, though, don't you think?
I'll work on it, sir. Have a nice day.
This is the introduction to the Canadian restaurant.
Oh, right.
Shea Winnebago.
Where she tries to get him to change his. She's starting to change him already. She's going to get to change his hair. She's going to change his jacket, and she's got big plans for him. It was cute, but it was just as good without it.
Well, I was gonna get a little bit taken off.
I'll do it this weekend.
This is the little bit that explains how the Gremlins jump on John Astin's cart, and has some some more of his improv. I don't think we were particularly happy with the puppeteering here, and I think that's probably the reason we dropped the shot. Because they would smell gamey, I mean, they're Gremlins. This is another little piece of color in lobby.
By the way, that extra got more action in that one shot than I did in 2 entire movies.
I think that's more than they want to know, Zach. And this is just a little felicitous moment.
Oh.
Little classy little moment.
God, why don't we cut that out?
Now, this is a colorization joke, and the reason that we took it out, even though it's a pretty funny joke, is that after we shot it, while we were editing, I went to see The Big Picture, the Chris Guest movie, and it had a colorization joke just like this in it, so we had to take it out. And of course, we had shown this Capper movie in the previous picture, so we thought that that would be a nice case. And also, it was one of the first pictures colorized really poorly. And so we thought that to have Mr. Clamp cheer up when he sees it go to color. And this is the animals. You see, this is the animals getting let loose scene that we didn't use, and there's some more of it on the blooper reel.
Is that a kangaroo?
Yeah, that was a kangaroo.
I don't know why we cut this stuff. It's pretty cute.
Oh.
And this is another scene that I would have probably left in the picture, but when it was when we were doing the shortening that had to happen, this was one of the longer pieces, and so it came out. But it's cute, and the puppeteering is really quite good.
Renfield is always loath to give up good material.
I don't think they have horror hosts anymore. They used to have them when they around the time of this thing.
It wasn't like Elvira was like the last one.
I guess she
wasn't
was, yeah.
That's right. It's really scary. But the reason this is such
Joe, you even had to cut some of your own part out.
Well, that wasn't hard. I didn't
Oh yes,
mind
and
that.
you're drinking Pepto-Bismol.
Pepto-Bismol, like all
right.
all
TV
TV
directors.
I think the notion here is that
I know what this was based on. This was based on the director that you play, your character. When we did The Howling, we went to
Channel 13.
To Channel 13, and they were doing this game show. And the
That's right.
director was this guy that was a
was
total
frenetic.
wreck. Frenetic, and he was like mainlining Pepto-Bismol and smoking, and we remembered that. And Joe based his character
portrayal
on that guy.
Now we get into random gags that came out simply because there just wasn't time to include them all.
Jimmy Durante gremlin?
Mm-hmm. Twins, doublemint twins.
This is a good gag.
Just a tiny bit pointless, but
Yes.
I think we took this out because we did this gag again with a gremlin. Now this is the mom who is in the movie theater and makes her child leave, as actually happened. The pinata scene, a sop to the south of the border audience. It's just, it didn't make it in.
Getting an
mainlining
IV
salad
of
dressing.
He's the vegetable gremlin.
That's absurd.
And this was the lead up to the videotape of the end of the world, which is called the Big Sign Off. And it's treated with the appropriate gravity, but apparently it took a long time getting there, so we just cut to him putting it in. However, this is the scene that has the little airplane flying in the sky outside.
Okay.
When he goes
it was
over,
on a wire.
When he goes over to the
that,
window.
yeah.
I don't know if you can actually see it or not, but maybe in high definition you can see it. Of course, this isn't in high definition, but
Which side of the
somewhere
frame would
it's
it be
right
on?
in front of him. There's a little wire with an airplane on it, but I'll be darned if I can see it. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I see something moving
I
out
see it.
there. Yeah, yeah.
Well, that was worth it, huh?
You guys have incredible vision because I didn't see a thing.
Where'd you find that thing?
No, this
Here's his
explains.
funny line.
This is the explanation of what this is. This giant tarp.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
A musical about Stalin.
A music about Stone.
Come on, be careful with that, will ya?
I wanna wake up in the city that doesn't sleep to find I'm king.
Now, there was actually obviously more to this number, and it got cut into different versions. And at one point, we had this elaborate bandstand gag where the bandstand comes up, and he goes into this off-key rendition of this thing.
The news. I'm leaving today. I wanna be a part of it. New York.
And it goes on.
Little town blues
Oh, Warner's owned the song.
That's right.
Yeah.
are melting away. I'll make a brand new start of it in old
Seems hard to believe we could cut classy stuff like this out of the movie, but but you know, I think maybe a little Gremlins goes a long way for some people.
I remember after the first screening, which was very long and had all this stuff in it, Stephen called and I said, "So what do you think?" He said, "Too many Gremlins."
Public Enemy reference here.
Wasn't there a point where she was a Carmen Miranda gremlin?
Well,
Yeah,
she sort of
yeah.
is. See, production value.
Yeah,
galore.
yeah. So, classy lighting, yeah.
Now, this actually was in the trailer, but it never made it into the picture.
You can't get them wet for at least an hour after they've eaten. 2, you gotta get them home before midnight. 3, all right, let's go over everything again, all right?
Ladies and gentlemen, these strange creatures now seem to be involved in some bizarre ritual of maybe creation.
Now, this was a whole. We spent so much time shooting this stuff that we had enough for like 3 movies. And some of the stuff, as you see, is very good. It just was so repetitive that it had to go.
There were definitely too many Gremlins in the first cut.
From the sky, and these creatures, they're writhing.
So we never got to the point, obviously, of putting any optical work or anything over this stuff.
Mass electrocution. It's apocalyptic, ladies and gentlemen. They're melting, ladies and gentlemen. That's the only way I can describe it. They're writhing in some sort of terrible pain. And remember, this spectacular history-making event is being brought to you exclusively over the Clamp News Channel.
Here's the Rosebud sled.
I've never seen the likes of it anywhere else in my entire life.
So you can see it with all. I mean, this was so much work that we were actually kind of loath to take it out. Of course, some of it may be a little goopy.
Just a tad.
And interestingly, this actually is the demise of 3 of our actual hero characters, but that wasn't enough to get it a spot in the picture, no sir. Good sound effects. certainly has a tragic air, doesn't it? You almost feel sorry for him. I think by this time there were a lot of us on the crew that were good and ready to see him go. There's the rosebud sled again, by golly. I wonder we didn't use this twice. I think these are, I think we're recycling some of these things more than once.
Well, you probably threw so many ideas out that you probably, how could you keep track of what you maybe had used and not used if you're just trying anything?
Yeah, well, also you photograph it differently and it looks different from a different angle, so sometimes it ends up in the picture more than once and you don't even know it.
Things seem to have subsided quite a bit now, ladies and gentlemen. The flashes of light have diminished.
It's like Edward R. Murrow with
One single solitary little creature still moving. They've all melted into strange puddles. I will now attempt to get out of here and to bring to you firsthand as I walk down there in that terrible...
I have a feeling he's making this up.
I will bring you firsthand a report of the carnage that has occurred.